Good morning, Mario, and good morning, Switch fans. Man, if you're a Switch fan, it has been one heck of a morning. We got to talk all about it, because this, my friends, has been a roller coaster ride, okay? I woke up and my mind was blown. The Switch Pro is here. All of everything has come to this moment, and I get to watch the trailer with all of you, and then I kind of felt like I got Nickelodeon slimed, like I got gacked. And I bet some of you feel the same way, and now Nintendo has confirmed it, so let's talk all about it. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Hope you're all doing amazing out there. Make sure to smash that like button, show some support, and make sure to let me know in the comments down below how you're feeling about all of this. I have to imagine there's a lot of different thoughts in your head right now. And if you're new here, welcome aboard. This is Good Morning Mario, your one-stop fun shop for everything Nintendo. We got a couple quick news bits to get out the way. One, Sony announced a new State of Play on Thursday, focusing on Deathloop and third-party PS5 games. That's pretty cool. Nintendo's trying to hunt down the ROM site they sued. They can't even get $50 from them. And Animal Crossing Monopoly is coming to Walmart soon. But none of that really matters because the Switch OLED model is here. And Nintendo just sent the nail into the coffin. We got a new confirmation quote from them that just dropped. Nintendo Switch OLED model, and this is a quote, Nintendo Switch OLED model does not have a new CPU or more RAM from previous Nintendo Switch models. Now, if there was any pie in the sky hope that maybe this would have some Pro, Nintendo just confirmed that you can't spell Pro with OLED. This is not the Switch Pro, and strings clearly cross. We've got lots to examine, but first off, I just want to be very clear that when I started that trailer this morning, this is not what I expected. My thought when I saw this sleek, white Joy-Con, wide kickstand, colorful screen system was that this would be a step up. The new, next, iterative Switch. In reality, it's not even really like a new iPhone because those have better insides. The specs get better year by year. This is a strange side project, and I want you to help me decide if Nintendo is evil or geniuses, or maybe evil geniuses, because they just found a way to charge $50 more for a Switch with some tweaks. Evil? Genius. Right, we'd heard that the Switch Pro was going to be this 4K system, right? At least upscaled to 4K with DLSS. It was going to provide a stronger, better performing Switch experience. It was going to have a better chip. And this is not any of that. Not even in the slightest. But why? And what went down here? Because it's odd. Nintendo already has a handheld focused Switch. It's called the Switch Lite. It came out a few years ago. And the best part of the Switch Lite is that it's cheaper. It's a way for you to play handheld and not worry about dock if you don't want to. Whereas this still has a dock with a nice wired port, but it's $50 more. And are you really getting all that much extra? And now Nintendo has this awkward 2.5 pillar strategy. It's not 3 pillars. This is not the Pro model, the base model, and the family model. This is like, we had these plans and we couldn't get the new chips, so voila. If there never was a pandemic, would we be getting a real Switch Pro later this year? You know, like, was this always the plan? It's kind of like the Loki TV show, right? Is this the master timeline? Is the Switch OLED a variant? If there never was all of this mess and stoppages and shortages, what Switch would we be getting later this year? And I honestly wonder if some of that did impact this decision and this release. Look, I know Nintendo is a very calculated company. They plan things well in advance. But I can't ignore the feeling that the pandemic and the shortage of chips that's affecting everybody affected Nintendo as well. Or I wonder if there's always been 2 models. Now, I don't want to get too speculative, but that is something that has been discussed for years now. That maybe there is a new model and a Pro model, and they're not the same thing. And we've seen a lot of weird chatter on the internet about like, hey, still thought Switch Pro is 2022. Maybe their next thing is the actual 4K thing. Like, clearly, wires were crossed. The rumors were right about a 7-inch screen. They were right about a wider kickstand. They were right about a 2021 release in September or October. They weren't right about the power at all. I feel like there has to be something to that. They didn't just make that up. Bloomberg, they were getting it from manufacturers, right? They didn't just make that up. So is there a future Switch? Well, the answer is yes, like undeniably. Nintendo will make another system that is more powerful. That is absolute, right? You can't argue that. One day they will. It's clearly not this, and it may not even come in 2022 or heck 2023. We now do not know what their plans are. Somewhere along the way, all of the people with their sources, it got shifted. I don't know if the pandemic is the culprit, or I don't know if Nintendo planned this all along. Maybe they do plan to have a lot of Switches. This is a company that had like 6 different DS models. They are no stranger to providing upgrades and different avenues and charging more and charging less and upgrading and sidestepping. Like, there is a part of me that thinks this is Nintendo's business overlords being like, how can we up the price of Switch and make it seem interesting and exciting to parents at the holiday season without really doing anything that extra? That is like the Bowser part of Doug Bowser going, wah ha ha, we found a way to get much more of your money. And look, you may not want to hear this, but I think the $50 price increase is actually kind of reasonable for what you're getting. Like, hear me out. You double the storage, you get an OLED screen, you get better audio, which if you're a handheld player or tabletop player, that's a big deal. You get the dock that has like the nice little extra, you get a slightly bigger screen, less bezel. It is a better experience. Does this become the recommendable Switch? Does this become the Switch people buy? I think yes. Because look, you're gonna buy a memory card anyways, and then at that point, for an extra like 20, 25 bucks, you get a nicer screen, you get a little bigger screen. I think that's probably worth it. Now, is it worth you getting a whole new one? Probably not. And here's where I think it becomes frustrating, or maybe just fine for current Switch owners. The goal was to get a Switch that was powerful, that pushed things to another level, or at least provided Nintendo more of a buffer so that third parties would say, hey, we're still interested in working with you. We still want to develop. We got some juice we can get out of this new Pro. Now, you don't have to get a new one at all. Your Switch is the Switch. But we are entering dangerous territory where who is going to want to develop for this system that is running on this ancient chipset, right? Are we going to start to see that third-party support that was one of the reasons the Switch was bolstered higher than the Wii U? Are we going to start to see that falter? I think it has to, right? Like, at some point, this gap, this chasm becomes too large. And then you have to start asking, when is Nintendo going to address it? Because they're not dumb, they're evil geniuses in some ways. They must have other plans. Now, whether that is an eventual true Switch Pro, or whether that's just a Switch 2, or whether that's something altogether different, I don't know, you don't know, and it's probably not coming for a while. This is the Switch we get, and it's not the Switch we wanted, nor the Switch that we asked for. Rather, it is Nintendo being business savvy and finding a way to reinvent and reinvigorate a product that already is so successful to prevent any sort of drop off, to prevent decline, right? To prevent the calls for a price drop. They made the Switch new again. And maybe not to you and I, like the people that watch this show every day, the people like me that check Twitter and refresh, but to the average consumer, they're like, oh, Nintendo has a new cool Switch. If my kid doesn't have a Switch or I don't have a Switch, this is the one I probably want to get. That screen will be nicer. Some of the slight upgrades are appreciated. It's nothing to write home about, but if you don't have a Switch at home, well, now it just got a little more intriguing. Nintendo's primary calling card has, is, will be their games. That's their bread and butter. And even though this isn't the announcement we wanted to see, their games lineup is absolutely killer. They are going to destroy in sales and success. And honestly, even for us, even if you don't get the Switch OLED, even if you're bummed by the Switch OLED, they are pumping out a lineup that will make Switch the best Nintendo system. Breath of the Wild 2, Pokemon Legends Arceus, Splatoon 3, Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, and even more. Oh yeah, Metroid Prime one day, Bayonetta 3 one day. These games are coming, and that is what they trade on. Even if this is just purely a business move, they've still got me hooked. Because it's more about what I'm playing than what I'm playing on. And that is really the theme of the industry in general right now. It's not so much about the box you have, it's about the game you're playing. And we know Nintendo, home run after home run after home run, right? Like they dominate that department. So I find this to be suck. I'm not happy with this. I would have much rather had a Switch Pro. I think one, there is some better Switch coming. It just might be 2, 3, 4 years down the line. I don't know. It might be another iteration. That seems likely. Nintendo does love to iterate, especially now that this becomes more and more of like their handheld thing that also does TV, because now 2 of 3 Switches have an emphasis on the portable side. But maybe that's their desired goal. They're differentiating from PS5 and Series X in the best way they can. The feature that is a spec they can succeed in. Portability, the duality, the Switch. Let me know in the comments what you think, how you're feeling about all of this. I mean, it seems like this is not targeting the hardcore. It is not the uptick we wanted. They even put OLED model in parentheses. That's how slight of an upgrade this is, but at the same time, there probably are a lot of hardcore Nintendo fans that will get this. The same people that got every iteration of the 3DS, the new 3DS, 3DS XL, the 2DS. Some Nintendo fans just cannot help themselves. And look, I'm probably one of them. I will probably get this thing just to test it out, see if it's any good, and man, check out if that OLED screen makes Breath of the Wild 2 look even sexier. Fun fact, Breath of the Wild 2 was shown in this ad, which to me means Nintendo is confident about 2022. I don't think they show a game that's a year and a half out in an ad for a system dropping October of this year if they don't have faith. So yeah, sound off about the Nintendo Switch OLED model that soon I think is just gonna become the Nintendo Switch. I think we're gonna drop the subtitle. I think this is just gonna be the Switch soon enough. Anyhow, we got a poll. We do them every evening. Make sure to check the community tab, subscribe, turn your notifications on so you can be part of the conversation. Hey Switch fans, it was the 4th of July weekend here in the States. Do you set off fireworks at your own house? I had to ask because my puppy was not pleased, okay? My car got shelled. It was very, very loud. I had a hard time hearing Ted Lasso. 26% said yes, you launch fireworks. 57% said nope, you don't. And 17%, myself included, said, are you crazy? It's just hard when you have pets. They don't like that at all. It doesn't feel like it's really all that respectful. And my car got so freaking messy in my own house. Like, come on, man. Anyhow, hope you all had a safe, fun time. And hopefully your pets aren't safe, fun time out there. Hopefully your pets weren't too upset. My dog's a little ruffled, but he's okay. And hopefully you're okay as well. So stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. I love you guys so much. Smash that like button. And until next time, SwitchForce out.